While Book of Blood started off our month-long look at Clive Barker, as well as starting off his writing career with his first collection of short stories, it was actually 1985's Underworld, also known as Transmutations, that started off his film career. This was Clive Barker's first attempt at writing for film. It wasn't based off of any of his prior works, and for 1985 this would be right around the same time that the Books of Blood was released, so he was just getting famous, or at the very least, on the verge of it. I won't lie, I've never heard of Underworld, but for it being the earliest Clive Barker written film, I'm beyond excited to dive into it. When looking on IMDb, Underworld has less than favorable reviews. But let's be honest, when has a bad review ever stopped me in the past? Let's find out if those reviews are well-founded, or if Underworld is actually an underappreciated gem. Welcome to the HellBound Horror Show. Underworld starts in a high-class brothel where we get minutes and minutes of footage where someone just pours champagne into a glass. We do cut back and forth between the brothel and some seedy ninja-esque baddies who are running around outside. The ninjas break into the brothel and kidnap one of the high-class prostitutes named Nicole. The Mafia is upset that Nicole was taken. Why are they upset, you may ask? Well, besides one of their favorite girls from their favorite place going missing, their motives become more clear at the end of the film. The Mafia hires Roy Bain, a retired private investigator, to find the missing girl. Roy initially refuses, but since he had a past relationship with Nicole, he is forced to take the case. Roy stumbles upon a doctor who saw Nicole frequently. We find out that the doctor has created a euphoric and highly addictive drug. This is the perfect drug, as anyone who takes it will be instantly hooked, but there's a catch. The drug deforms the person beyond recognition. Well, there's a small army of these mutated druggies living in the sewers. It was these mutations that took Nicole and are using her as bait so they can get more drugs from the doctor. The mutants try to inject Nicole with the drug, but she's immune to its effects. Turns out that the mutants aren't so bad after all, and Nicole becomes friends with them.
Welcome to the Underworld.
Who are you?
I'm Nygaard. This is Doo-Doo.
But my friends call me Shitface.
Well, the Mafia want the mutants dead, and we have a climactic battle against mobsters and monsters while Roy tries to save Nicole. Oh boy, where do I even start with this one? Clive Barker met George Pavlou in the mid-80s, and both talked about their interest in film. Barker wanted to obviously write, and Pavlou wanted to direct. Barker wrote a script. Originally, the script was more horror and film noir, but unfortunately, studio execs at the time wanted a more punk rock vibe, and they asked for rewrites. The idea of mobsters versus monsters is a fun one, but you can tell Barker's vision was greatly hindered by studio interference, and this interference is what led Barker to disown the film. It's also interesting to point out the similarities between Underworld and Barker's later film, Nightbreed. The idea of freaks being outcasts of society, but in reality, they are the warm-hearted normal ones. You identify with these monsters and realize that the real monsters are the ones occupying society. Now, I'm sure that there's more of a personal reason Barker plays with these themes often in his work, but I'm not really one to speculate.
What are you doing here?
This is my new home. These are my friends.
Barker would continue to work with director George Pavlou just one more time with 1986's Rawhead Rex, which I'll cover next. Let's just say this point in Barker's film career was rocky at best. Pavlou, while I'm sure is a good guy, didn't do much to elevate the material. Everything is very safe. Acting is rather bland, even though there was talent on screen. It seemed like everyone was just phoning it in. Music is mostly not memorable either. Lighting in the film is on point at times. Some lighting captures eyes or it sets the tone. Some decent colors here and there. Makeup and special effects are mostly cheap looking. However, all the mutants look unique. They look bad, don't get me wrong, but at least you can tell them apart. It's hard to recommend Underworld as it is, but I hear it's getting a 4K release by Kino Lorber sometime in 2024. Now, I believe this is the first English disc that will be released of this one. I know there's a German DVD, but that might be it. So either way, a higher resolution's only going to benefit the viewing experience. I also want to mention that Underworld and Transmutations are slightly different versions of the same movie. There's an additional 15 minutes in Transmutations, and that's the version that I actually watched for this review. Now, I didn't watch both versions and I didn't compare them, so maybe a shortened runtime could actually help the pacing of the movie. I don't know, I'm only speculating. All in all, if you're a diehard Barker fan, you may want to check it out. Just know that studios removed a lot of the horror elements and really undermined Barker. So you still have inklings of his skill, but it feels very removed from his style. Writing a script from scratch didn't work out for Barker, so for his next film project, he adapted one of his short stories found in the Books of Blood. Will Barker's future attempt to work with George Pavlou work out for him? Or will it be yet another failure worthy of disowning? Find out on the next episode as we take a look at Rawhead Rex. And that's all I have for tonight, so thank you so much for watching, and stay spooky, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what I do and want to support the channel, please consider subscribing or by buying me a coffee in the description below. Any bit helps. Thank you, and take care.